Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this month's sharing of Harmonize to Energize. My name is Terry Matthews, and it's been my pleasure and privilege to share aspects of JIN SHIN JYUTSU self-help for the past, I counted recently, 6 years. And it's always been a joy and a pleasure. So welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing well. And anyone who's brand new to JIN SHIN JYUTSU, a quick overview. JIN SHIN JYUTSU is the art of harmonizing life energy as it moves through our bodies in energy pathways, which can be modulated by what in JIN SHIN JYUTSU are called safety energy locks. There's 26 of them, left and right of the spine. We connect with them with the palms of our hands, the back of our hands, or our thumbs, in order to allow more energy to move through these pathways congruently. So they're balancers. They're like resistors in an electric circuit. If there's too much energy, they will slow it down. If there's not enough, they'll increase it. Now, the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU was brought to the West by Mary Ino Burmeister, who she had learnt this art from her master Jiro Murai in Japan during the 1940s. And we're very grateful to her because she established the teachings in book form and began showing us, teaching us this beautiful art very simply, and then later on began sharing it with her earlier students, of which I believe you are one, aren't you, Waltraud? One of her earlier students.
Yes, yes, I think
And,
so.
and they became the instructors for JIN SHIN JYUTSU throughout the world. And it's my great honor and pleasure to have with me today, for the very first time on Harmonize to Energize, Waltraud Riegger-Krause from Germany. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone.
Um,
Welcome,
I'm
everyone
going
around
to
the
disappear
world.
because I've said quite enough, and I'm going to leave you in the more than capable hands of Waltraud. So here we go.
Yeah, thank you, Terry. Um, yeah, I would like to talk today about, how can we kind of listen within ourselves and feel more what is important to us. And I would like to start with giving myself a big hug. That's how Mary often started the classes. And she wrote a lot of things about the breath. She said, relax. And if you're unable to relax, just be as you are. I like that sentence, you know. There is no need to try to relax. In time, one can be able to relax without trying, she said. We are human beings, not human tryings or doings or strivings. We are just simply human beings. So she teaches us to let go, to drop our shoulders down to the toes and exhale all the dirt and dust and greasy grime. Everything we don't need right now in the moment, we can let go. Because that's also was one of her favorite quotes. Just be in the now. Be in that one moment now. And the breath is always in the now. You know, we cannot use the breath before, the past breath. We cannot use it anymore. We also cannot use the following breath yet. The only thing, the only breath I am is the breath now. Just in this one moment. Life happens just now. And always now. And it's always now. You know, anything else is just in our head, in our thoughts. Yesterday's is in our thoughts, tomorrow's. But life, being, is now. You know, in preparation for this class, I was looking a lot into the self-help books because they are full of philosophy. They are filled with spiritual quotes from Mary. It starts with Self-Help Book 1 when she says, the art of living is simple. We complicate it in our efforts to try to live or to try to exist. JIN SHIN JYUTSU is beautifully simplifying the complexities of existing into an art of living. Introducing JIN SHIN JYUTSU is only to awaken our awareness as to what being is. It is simply the getting to know and help myself. And I found, you know, being has a lot to do with feeling within. Listen to our heart. I would like to show a few more quotes from Mary. Okay. Be the smile. Be the dropping of your shoulders. Bow your head. Exhale. Unload all the dirt, dust, and greasy grime, and inhale. Receive the cosmic energy in abundance. Be the smile, she said in Self-Help Book 1. If I am cosmic rhythm, which is the breath I receive, all knowledge, all wisdom is within. So simply be the awareness and the understanding, the knowledge, the wisdom, be the jumper cable itself. I don't know if you have the self-help books. They are full with a lot of wonderful sentences from Mary, and they seem to be very simple, especially self-help book number 1. Mary told us the story that there was a student in class who bought self-help book number 1, and 2 weeks later, she brought it back and she said, you know, this is not for me. This is too simple. And Mary always said, too simple? You know, I mean, to be the awareness and the understanding of myself, to me, it's not simple. It can be simple, maybe, but we have to grow into this, you know? Another page, this is Self-Help Book 3. You know, it kind of moves from Self-Help Book 1, there are not so many quotes, into Self-Help Book 2, where she has a sentence with each of the safety energy locks, and then into Self-Help Book 3, which is also full of very beautiful sentences. This is from Self-Help Book 3. The journey lies within myself to seek that which has no beginning or ending. Exhale all skepticism, attitudes, and inhale joy, laughter, happiness in abundance. Continue smiling and exhaling. If one is in disbelief, if we are not believing, she said, just smile. Hold the index finger. Drop the shoulders into the big toes. Keep smiling. Exhale, unload all archaeological garbage, dirt, dust, greasy grime from the head into the big toes. Continue smiling. Inhale. Receive the purified, revitalizing, renewing energy from the big toes to the top of the head. In repeating this for a few exhalings, or if time permits, 36 exhalings, one begins to see the simplicity and the fun in the holding, jumper cabling, fingers and toes. So now we can move to holding the little finger, because the little finger is related to the 5th depth and is related to the heart energy. Again, here in Self-Help Book 1, Mary talks about holding the little finger helps pretense, crying on the inside, laughing on the outside. Through JIN SHIN JYUTSU, our awareness is awakened into the simple fact that all that is needed for harmony and balance, physically, mentally, emotionally, digestively, and spiritually, is within myself. Everything is within myself. You know what always brings me into awe when I read through the self-help books? You know, she teaches an art to hold fingers. We can help ourselves by holding fingers. We can help ourselves by holding energy locks. And then she gives symptoms to each energy lock. But at the same time, she teaches that we have everything within. She teaches us, or she taught us this great wisdom, what we have inherited from our source, because we are all beings that are still connected to the source. So the source, in a way, for me, it has its seat in the heart, because that's where we receive spirit. In the heart, it's the seat of the soul. All religions talk about that the heart is the seat of the soul. And Hildegard von Bingen says the heart is the seat of feelings and religious sensations. So relax again here. This, if you're unable to relax, we can just be as we are. No need to try to. And here we are again at the fifth depth and the heart energy. Mary said it's one of the attitudes that is connected to the heart is pretense, but the other one is the trying too hard, trying to be someone who we are not, trying to be the best one. So we don't need to try, we can just relax. We are human beings, not tryings or doings or strivings even. We are just human beings. So I just want to show you other pages about holding the little finger. So there's actually a combination for these helping the fifth depth and helping the heart. Here on the left side where we can hold the little finger and then the ring finger. And this is from Self-Help Book 1. And in Self-Help Book 2, again, she talks about the little finger. Simply continue to be the smile. Unload and receive your breath of life. She does not only talk about the breath, the breathing, but it's the breath of life. That means the breath of life, it's the prana, it's the ki or the chi, the life energy, the pneuma, it is the light in the breath. It's the source energy in the breath. It's the vibration of life that we are also breathing. Yeah. And she says, all trying to melt away. You can just be the self you are. Know myself, it is. So the heart functions become harmonized. The body energy begins to increase. The nerves become relaxed. Total peace engulfs your body. In the get to now or into get to know myself, it is. Always the it is, and that has a meaning. Infinite truth, infinite self. So these are just shorties for the infinite truth and infinite self. Be the smile. Unload and receive with awareness and understanding. Only 36 of the thousands of breath of life we receive in a day for harmony, health, wealth, and happiness. Know myself, it is. So only 36, but conscious breath, Oftentimes we deviate. We breathe and then we, all of a sudden we are into what happened yesterday. So we start counting the breath. Mary said you can divide it into 4 times 9. No, yes, 4 times 9, sorry. That's easier to count. But she also said it doesn't matter if if we deviate. Next time, maybe we try again and we can count more. To be is simple. It is our do's, our trying to's that are complex. The tree is just there. The apple does just grow. The tree doesn't push the apple to grow. It's us human beings. We kind of put some fertilizers on the tree or whatever to make it grow faster, to make the apples bigger, to have more red apples, what have you. It is, the tree is just being. We are human beings, not doings. All right, so let's go back. Yeah, if you are holding the left little finger, now you can hold the right little finger. And then we feel inside and we listen inside, you know. We can rest in our heart. And there we can feel our joy, our cheerfulness. We can also feel our sadness, our stress. You know, the heart is always right. It's connected to consciousness. We know that a few branches, or that one branch of the heart flow, those who are have been in 5-day classes, you know that the heart flow, one branch is going into the little finger. That's why we hold the little finger. And one branch is going to the brain, another branch into the lungs, into the kidneys, into the liver, into the spleen. So the heart is, you know, spreading into the whole body. And the connection to the brain is very important because it has to do with our consciousness. Through the heart, we are able to develop consciousness. Through feeling, we feel something and understand through feeling, we are developing consciousness. It's related to the fifth depth, as I said, and this has to do with our spiritual body. And you know, we are spirit. Mary said we are spiritual beings having a human experience, a worldly experience. What is it to be spiritual? You know, when I was in class with Mary, that was back in 85, I was pondering upon what does she mean by spiritual? What is a spiritual being? It seemed to be very far away, you know, it seemed to be something that was hard to grasp for me. What do we have to do to be spiritual, you know? One day I realized, you know, it has to do with the heart. If I bring my heart into what I do, if I speak from the heart, and when I think something and I put it into my heart first before I say it, you know. So it's very, very much related to the heart. Like Hildegard von Bingen, she said, it's the seat of feelings. She also, in another quote, she says, it's the house of the soul. And there are a lot of meditations that listen to the heart and feel the light in the heart. Or so the heart is the center, you know, it kind of connects the chakras, all the chakras that are below and those who are above the heart. In the heart, through the heart, our consciousness can change. It comes into alignment with the higher self, with the universe, with the wholeness, with the intuition. So we are now holding the mudra. You hold your little finger and your ring finger and place your thumb in the front and the other fingers on the back of the hand. This is also a mudra that helps the fifth depth and that helps the heart energy. I have a slide here. Again, from Self-Help Book. Self-Help Book 3 is giving us the mudras. It's talking about the fingers, the toes, the finger-toe flow. And this mudra, and here we have all these quotes and these sentences. Here Mary said, again, that's one of her favorite, know myself, be it is. Know myself, be infinite truth, infinite self, impersonal self. That's the letters for those words. It is one's own attitudes that cause limitations, blockages, and keep one from being fun. You know, so we are trying to get better. We are trying to get our heart in order. We are doing mudras, we are holding fingers, we are holding energy locks. But if we don't attend to our attitudes, you know, those attitudes cause the limitations and the blockages. That's also part of her teaching. In this we can so much learn from these self-help books about the philosophy, because this is not much in our 5-day class books. Just the first 2-3 pages talk a little bit about the philosophy, but then we talk about, you know, she talks about the flows. But here in the self-help books, so this mudra, you know, helps if we get nervous, if we worry about our heart. I can't walk too much without getting out of breath. You know, walking is related, and walking too much is disharmonizing heart energy. If we're doing like marathon all the time, if we are do mountain climbing, after 60, we have to watch out not to do too much, you know. A lot of people get heart projects then. So when I'm trying too much and I get depressed, if there is no fun, no joy, if we overdo, and we know the heart is also connected to the kidneys, and we are overdoing all the time, then we are using a lot of our adrenaline. And that pushes us into burnout. So the heart energy teaches us to stay centered, to get out of the trying, get out of the pretense. Mary says, smile, know myself, be it is. In it, all answers are provided. Smile. It is as it is, and know as it is, it is. Be the now. Knowing all one's miseries are results of one's ignorance of myself. I can't accept that. Change can't to won't. And see that change in the picture. To change a negative as it is, simply change myself. Hold little finger and big toe. That's the finger-toe flow. Wonderful. I want to give a hint to my card set. I don't know if all of you know that I have written a card set and little booklet about JIN SHIN JYUTSU and the safety energy logs, the mudras, the fingers, the organ flows. where we can just playfully, experience here, holding the little finger with pictures and a little text also. There's also an app where you can playfully kind of put your daily self-help program together, and it guides you through. Yeah. All right. What else do we have? So we are holding this finger, and another quote from Hildegard von Bingen is, "The heart is the house of the soul. Thoughts rise from the warm heart like smoke through the chimney up to the cool brain, where they are transformed. The fire of the heart, together with the coolness of the brain, produces the uniformity of thought." So she says that that our thoughts, they arise from the heart to the brain. So it's connected, heart and brain, heart and consciousness. And only when it's, when it's together, then we have the unity, the uniformity of thoughts. When we want something and we only want it from the head, it doesn't have the power. If we bring it into the heart, and I really want this from the heart, then it gets power behind, energy behind. Then it can succeed. So let's do another self-help. We are holding energy log number 13, and the other hand is holding 15 in the groin. 13 is just on the bust line, is just above the breast. My right hand goes to the left, 13, and the 15, well, is going into the groin area. It's holding, with the left hand, I'm holding the groin. So, oops. So this is a good self-help. 13 opens the bust line. 13 opens the chest, and it's related also to fertility. And Mary says, "Love thine enemies." So it's about, what is my enemy? Where are my enemies? They are within me. They are in my heart. It's that part of myself that I don't want to see. It's that part of myself that I don't see. That which I project, to someone else. It's your fault, we say, But maybe it has to do with me. I don't see oftentimes the aspect that has to do with myself. So this is the enemy, the dark part. And the 15 brings joy and laughter into my life, it opens the hip line, any projects, with the pelvic area, anything with the legs. It supports the heart energy. So let's see. I want to just show again. So I have a nice quote from Mary. Treat people as if they were what they could be, and you help them to become what they are capable of becoming. See beyond attitude. See the perfection. My husband is an osteopath, and they learned that when they have a client, that they should not focus on the label, what they have, on the, kind of disharmony, but they should see the person already in that total, harmonized, healthy state. And that's about the same what Mary says here, If we see the person already in harmony, we can help them grow into that. Our thoughts have power, have a lot of power. So whenever someone comes to you for treatment, just already see the person when it's healthy. Again, our self-help book 2, safety energy log number 13. I always like these quotes here. They teach us so much about life. Awareness and understanding of the unloading, exhaling, and receiving, inhaling of the breath of life will help one to develop a more thoughtful and more all-embracing know myself it is. So 13 came into the universe meaning love your enemies. And we can help our rundown energy battery to recharge, increase the productivity, and help to change our image. This is what I just said, to change the image. If we change the picture, it changes the form. I see the world through my eyes. Some people see the world blooming, others see the pink, others in green. So each one of us sees life different. So we can aid chest congestion, appetite balance, reproductive functions, tension, stress in the shoulders and in the neck, and also a lot of emotional stress. So 13 is very, very good for emotional stress in any kind of heart pain. Any, crying on the inside, but laughing on the outside. And there was a research done in Sweden with people that worked in hotels at the reception and in the service. And so people who work, in hotels, in restaurants, they always have to be friendly. They have to smile all the time. Sometimes even when they don't feel well, they have to pretend that they are happy, that they are smiling. And they found out that these people are more prone to heart attack than others because they are pretending. They are pretending they are happy, and that is harmful for the heart. I also just want to show you, from my card set, here you have like safety energy log number 13, some sentences, creative power comes from the heart. I forgive myself and others. So it talks about the 13, it talks about the physical and the spiritual projects that are related to it. Yeah, and then we have the 15. Again, 15 says laughter. the key to no attitude. Laughter is the key to no attitude, but real laughter. You know, when Mary says, be the smile, she just reminds us. She doesn't mean that we should pretend laughing or pretend smiling. Be the dropping of your shoulders, unload, exhale. You know, she repeats this again and again and again and again. Okay. So I would like to do an exercise with you where we feel into the heart, and we can now hold the other side, you know, the 13 and the 15. And it's a good way how we can resolve, you know, emotional pain through the heart. So whenever there is some emotional issue, we can just, you know, close our eyes and go into the heart and feel. Feel that pain, you know? Where do we feel emotions? Normally we feel them in the heart, sometimes also in the stomach. But bring it into the heart, whatever it is, and feel it. Don't try to push it away. Oftentimes we get busy and try to push it away to not feel the pain. Now really go into that pain and feel inside and embrace it. Can be, you know, can be like pressure, it can be like throbbing, can be pulling. Doesn't matter, just feel it and breathe into it. Breathe into it. And then try with every exhalation to release it through the back, to exhale it out through the back, through your spine. And again, just exhale it. With every exhalation, we release that feeling, that pain, that discomfort. Through the back, it goes out into the universe. And then you can inhale, coming from the front, the light. We exhale that pain or that feeling. It creates a vacuum. And we invite the light, you know, to fill that vacuum from the front. You know, when we do this, we don't need to hold the 13. We can normally place our hands on our thighs. Yeah, you know, you can take them down now and place them on your thighs so you can drop the shoulders. And it's easier to feel the whole chest. Invite the light into your heart. The heart is the seat of the soul. Our heart is actually an organ of light. It has a very, very large electromagnetic field. It has the largest electromagnetic field in the body. It radiates out almost like 3 feet. That's why when people are close together, their hearts get in sync with each other. You know, to me, this is always visible in the classes. When at the beginning there is still some restlessness, people come in with their projects, with their nervousness, with their run energy. And as the days pass by, so at the third day, you know, you can already feel that it gets much, much calmer. Everything is much calmer. Of course, we do hands-on, but also we get all in that higher vibration all together. We are lifting each other up. And that has a lot to do with that electromagnetic field of the heart. So let's again exhale. What is, if there is still something there, and feel the light coming in and expanding through the chest. Feel the light in your heart. And in this silence, we can hear what the heart is telling us, what the heart is whispering us. The heart always knows the right way. Just be. Relax. Feel. And there's a quote from Dalai Lama. World peace must develop from inner peace. Peace is not just mere absence of violence. Peace is, I think, the manifestation of human compassion. So if we feel the peace within, it has an effect to the world. Okay, we can come back. Wake up again slowly. Okay, thank you very much. Terry, I give it back to you.
I'd rather keep it with you.
Where can people get the self-help books?
Oh, they'd have to go. I'm not sure whether David still sells them on the Inc. site. You guys do, don't you, on the JSJ SMB? Don't you?
Don't ask me.
Oh, okay. All right. As far as I'm aware, everybody, you can still get the books, the self-help books, that is, from www.JSJINC. I think it's .org now. Hold on. Let me go into the chat. Yeah. JSJINC.org for self-help books. I don't know about JSJ SMB, whether you guys, okay, JSJ.org for self-help books.
Mhm.
All right.
At least you can ask there or yeah, I mean, get in contact with David. I'm sure David would still have them.
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
do think he has. I'm just not sure whether he advertises on the website anymore. But
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
go to that website, .org, JSJINC.org, you will, there will be some links.
Mhm.
And, you know, and Waltraud showed her cards. The only reason I don't have the big version of the book is because there's a little version actually, is
Yeah.
because it, yeah, it's because it hasn't been into, you know, translated into English. But
Yeah.
honestly, folks, those of you that have followed Harmonize to Energize with me will know that I've often used Waltraud's cards and
Oh,
quotes
good.
because, you know, with the greatest respect to Mary, Mary was quite zen in a way, and to interpret some of her sayings, you would need to sit into, I think, your heart space, or
Yeah.
yeah, and study a little while where she was coming from, and Waltraud has helped that along by giving, I would say, at least for most people, a greater accessibility. And that's not putting Mary's work in a different box. It's just saying that there's a different level of accessibility. So I would recommend, especially if you're brand new, but even if you're a continuing student, Waltraud's work is beautiful. The illustrations, the photographs, and I love her messages, her affirmations,
Mm.
because she mentioned there about, you know, what we think, and, you know, and the quotes that Mary has on the side of self-help book 2 on the pages. They are, to me, that extra aspect of that bus line thinking process. That's where Mary was talking about our thoughts and giving us ideas
Mm.
of how we might look at our thinking. Is that how you would see it, Waltraud, to a large degree? The message that we give ourselves, and then it enters our. I love that analogy between the heart and the brain. I've heard in Chinese medicine, you know, Hilde von Bingen, I've heard in Chinese medicine that the heart houses the mind. I hadn't
Mhm.
heard the expression of the fire and cooling the brain and the cooling of the brain.
Yeah.
The fire meets the cooling. I'm going to assume this is organ function energy where heart function energy meets bladder kidney in the brain, right? In the pineal and the pituitary. I'm going to assume that's what's going on there. Is that your
Maybe.
understanding?
I mean, this is a quote from Hildegard von Bingen.
Yeah.
And she was, you know, a saint. She was a nun and a saint. So she had greater insights in these connections. So she talks about the brain as being cold, you know, and the heart as being fire. So water and fire. She talks about fire
Right.
and water here. And I'm not sure if she knows about, you know, the bladder flow being and the kidney. I
And the
mean, the kidney
kidney.
flow is if we look at our textbook, the kidney flow is producing the brain marrow, is producing marrow. So the brain marrow gets nourished by the kidney energy and by the heart energy, which also has a branch up into the cerebrum. And so they both are there. And that's also, I look at the, I hope I'm not going too far. I don't know how many new students are here, but in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we look at the ages related to the depths. So the fourth depth is related from 46 to 60, and the fifth depth is 60 plus. So this is the time when we age, and many people get, you know, forgetful, and it affects the brain, or even, you know, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, you know, develops also in older age. So maybe these organ flows are not really nourishing the brain properly anymore. But that was, it's just a side thing. But there are two hands up there.
Yeah. Do you want to go into gallery view now and see everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Rue, is it how it's pronounced, or is it Rue?
Rui.
Rui. Okay.
Okay.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. And nice to see you, Waltraud, since last time in Lisbon, where we had a course. Okay. I would like to ask a question. If there is any, if Mary talked about the physical sensation of the dirt, greasy grime leaving the body uh, as a physical thing, is one thing. Another, you talked about down the back and up the front. Are you talking about the face flows like bladder that you talked, and the toe flows coming up the front in this meditation? Thank you very much.
In this meditation, I was not thinking of any flows, you know. It was just like being present in the heart, in the chest. So, but of course, there's a lot of things happening. There are toe flows coming up and face flows going down, chest flows moving out to the fingers, finger flows. No, finger flows go from the back. But I was not thinking of any flows. I was more thinking of that space of the spiritual heart. The spiritual heart is bigger than the physical heart. It's just that whole chest area, and even beyond, you know, even beyond, like, as I said, the electromagnetic field, which radiates out 3 feet, 1 meter. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
Right. Yeah, I think where Rui was coming from there, I wondered you talked about exhaling through the back and inhaling through the front. And most of us understand that that's more at the manifest textbook 2 level because of the organ function flows. I'd never heard how you did that before myself, but I could see from where Rui was coming from too, that maybe that's what you meant. Is that making sense?
Yeah, but also it's more like if we remove something to the back, we leave it behind. You know, it's past. And the front is the future. So I invite the light from the front. That was my
it. I like it.
that's my thinking when I was, you know, going
Yeah.
with the back and the front. You know, I leave it behind me.
That's beautiful. No problem with that. Thank you for introducing me to that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I love it. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Nancy.
Hi, Waltraud. Thank you so much. I have your book, your cards and your book, and they have been such a big help to me. I have 2 questions. When folks have had open heart surgeries and they cannot feel from their heart any longer, it feels as though some people are shut down in the whole heart area and they cannot access what we just did. They will say that they don't feel, they can't feel the emotions that we just went through. How do we address that? And the other question is from in the beginning when you were saying, now is the only moment we have, kind of basically. We've spoken at various classes about JIN SHIN JYUTSU where when we're working on the past, that's our left side. And when we work on the present day, our lifestyle is the right side, as I understand it. I kind of get confused, like everything other than this moment is my past. So wouldn't we always start with the left if we don't have the ability to feel somebody's pulses?
The left side and the right side, this is on the supervisor level, you know, the left side descending energy of generation, right side ascending energy of regeneration. But being in the now is beyond, to me, is a higher vibration. That is already talking about the manifesting energy.
Okay.
But the now is the Tao, is the maybe what is the 8 steps maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's before we go into the duality. Now is beyond duality. And with the open heart surgery, of course, there is a big cut in the body also on the bust line. And I had 2-3 people, you know, working on 2-3 people after open heart surgery. They need a lot, you know, this like second method of correction when we comb, you know, we can comb when we go down from 21 to 22 and then 13 and then rib by rib, we can just comb really front. And then when we go up the back, I would do the same. I was doing the same combing because first of all, they have a lot of tension also in the rib cage, but also the energy is cut and has to connect again. So on both sides, you know, do this second method very thorough, and on the back, do it in the same way like in the front to comb the energy locks, 23, 9, 10, 3s, all the way. And, you know, doing hands-on helps them a lot. Holding fingers. are these people or is this person doing JIN SHIN JYUTSU or holding fingers?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, because, you know, the heart is a really, really very important organ. And, you know, we say when someone gets a heart transplant, they even take on the personality of that donator because the heart is related to our personality. And I would just continue, because this is the nice thing, you know, Mary talks about the philosophy, but she gives us also the hands-on that helps to live the philosophy. Holding fingers helps me to calm down and I can live the be in the now better. Holding energy locks helps me also, you know, to relax and to live the philosophy. This is when she talks on page 2 in text 1, you know, about the philosophy, the physiopsychology, and the physiology. I mean, the spirit, mind, and body, they all belong together. Doesn't matter if we grow in the awareness or in the understanding. This will always improve our hands-on, but also our hands-on will improve our understanding and our awareness. So it goes always both ways, up and down, exhaling, inhaling.
Okay.
So, okay.
So, got a few more minutes. Anyone got a question, comment, feedback? Rui, here you go.
Another question. For a person that now is starting chemotherapy for lymphoma, Hodgkin lymphoma, and after he will go through radiotherapy, what would be your thoughts? Thank you.
Yeah, depending, you want to know in general chemotherapy, not what was the issue?
It was a lymphoma in the mediastin area, which is external in the center, but inside in the thymus gland. Thymus gland. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's starting with chemotherapy, and he will go through radiotherapy. Thank you.
I mean, as you know, we are treating people and not so much just the symptoms. That's why it is hard to say something for if I don't see the person and I cannot feel pulses and touch. But in general, chemotherapy needs a lot of spleen flow and 23-25 flow to harmonize the white blood cells, help them recover. And if it's a gland, do a main central also. The fatigue flow would be a good one in general. And then just look into what the person needs. I would also think of kidney energy. Kidney energy because a lymphoma, it's because the kidney has to do with our genetic, the genes and the blueprint, connection to 6 steps, 4 steps, connection to 6 steps, cause and effect. So 4 steps energy, and always look what the person needs, what that specific person would need in addition. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let them hold the fingers. Always. Fingers very powerful.
What happened there? All right. So, I hope you'll come back sometime, Waltraud. That was beautiful. That was wonderful. A great learning experience for me, and judging by the comments I see in the chat, for several others too. Is there any class that you're doing soon that you'd like to mention just briefly?
I'm doing a 5-day class in Izny, where I live, in June, but I guess it's booked out.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm not surprised, by the way.
Yeah, no, it is because I'm only doing 2 classes this year. I have kind of right now, so I'm only doing 2 classes, and yeah, and we have a limit, so we have to limit the size of the class also.
Oh, okay. Is that just a new guideline? Yeah, and I think
No, not because of the room,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
the space, because of the space.
yeah, that makes sense. And do you ever plan to come back to the US?
No, I don't have any plans.
Yeah, okay.
Because I just wanted to have some little bit time off and not so much, when I teach these things, I also have to apply it to myself, to take some time, to have it a little bit slow. Yeah.